Unit 5, Academic English. Exercise 1, University's Calendar. Listen to the talk about the university's calendar. As you listen, write down the missing days and dates in the correct place, and then fill in the missing information in the notes.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the International Language Center for the 2000-2001 academic year. We hope this year will be a year of success for you. Now, let me give you a quick rundown of our calendar for the first quarter. The orientation for new students will be held next Thursday, August 31st. September 4th will be our holiday. That is Labor Day, so there will be no school on that day. The first day of class will be on Tuesday, September 5th. About 1 month later, there will come another holiday, Thanksgiving Day. That's October 9th. There is no school on that Monday. November 9th will be our last day of class. That's Thursday. The following day will be exam day. Please remember that's November 10th and be prepared for the examination. I'd like to tell you that regular attendance at this school is necessary in all classes and lectures. We expect at least 90% attendance. Attendance is taken by each subject teacher. You know you cannot succeed in school if attendance is irregular. Absences of 20% or more will result in students being placed on probation for 1 quarter. Continued absences may result in the student being required to withdraw from the school. It's our expectation you will all grow to realize your full potential and contribute your talents to this year's activities.
Exercise 2, About the coursework. Listen to the talk and fill in the missing information in the notes, and then circle the correct letters. Hello, everyone. Before you start your course, we would like to tell you a little about the background of how the course is designed. You will have an opportunity to discuss the emphasis you would like the course to have in the first 2 units. We are confident you will benefit from the course if you can agree on what is important to do and how you would like it to be done. The emphasis of this course is on observing how native speakers use English, describing how the language is used, discussing difficulties, and practicing the language as it is really used. Much of the material, particularly in the second part of each unit, may seem simple, from a structural and vocabulary point of view, that is. The emphasis, however, is not on knowing, nor even understanding such language, but on being able to use it yourself. This course is not for those who want to know something about English, but for those who wish to use it effectively as a means of spoken communication. The following assumptions are made throughout the course. 1. It is possible to study the spoken language, and this is in no way inferior to the written language. 2. Some students find grammar rules helpful. Others do not. But nobody finds rules helpful which are full of exceptions. 3. It helps to learn more words, but it often helps more to learn to use those you already know more effectively. 4. At your level, discussing the language and how it is used is an essential element in learning. 5. it helps to use authentic materials. This course is not for those who want to know, but for those who want to use the language. The most important objective of the course is to help you to be yourself in English.
Exercise 3. Being involved in campus life. Listen to the talk and circle the correct letter and then fill in the missing information in the notes.
Good morning and welcome to our regular lecture on being a confident student. This series of lectures is organized by the Students' Union, and we want to help you to cope well with the life on campus. Today, it's a great pleasure for me to welcome Ms. Diana Sheeran, who is the President of the Students' Union, and she has been kind enough to give up her time to come along and talk to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John. May I say it's a pleasure to be here. Now, I know being away from home and having to look after yourselves can make you feel homesick and give you a hard time. So today I'm going to talk about the ways of making sure that you get involved in campus life. This may help you cope better with your study and life on campus. To become more involved in campus life, use your college's resources, which include places to go for help, people who can help you, and publications that can help you. Your instructors, academic advisors, counselors, department heads, resident advisors, coaches, and club sponsors are among the people you can ask for help. Become familiar with the services your college provides and know where to get them. The registrar's office answers all questions about records and grades. The Career Center can help assess your interests and skills. The Guidance Office offers help with course selection and scheduling and may offer personal counseling as well. Learning labs and libraries provide equipment and learning resources to help you improve your skills and meet course requirements. The Financial Aid Office handles questions about fee payment, scholarships, loans, grants, and jobs available on campus. If you need more instruction than you are getting in the classroom, your college may provide a tutor.
Exercise 4. The first-year undergraduates. Two students are talking in the students' canteen. Listen to the conversation and fill in the missing information in the notes below.
Is this seat taken?
No.
May I sit here?
Please do. Are you a new student?
Yes, I'm Marty from Korea. I got here only yesterday.
I'm Alan, second year in law. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Alan, could you tell me something about the first-year student's life here?
Okay. You know, the first-year student's life can be exciting but terrifying for the first week.
Why is it terrifying?
Oh, many first-year students will feel very homesick for the first week since this is their first time away from home. By the way, do you live on campus?
Yes, I live in a hall of residence.
That's good. Living in a hall of residence soon helps you to make some new friends. You know, the university always provides accommodation to the first-year students. They may move out into a rented room in their second or third year, or share a house with friends.
I see. That's reasonable for the first-year students so they don't worry about their accommodation and transportation problems.
That's right. During the first week, all the clubs and societies will hold a students' fair, during which they try to persuade new students to join their society.
Oh, I heard about that. I expected this kind of fair. I'd like to join some sports clubs so I will have something to do in my spare time.
The first-year students are told that it is important for them to come into contact with many opinions and activities during their time at university. The first week, you may be taken to visit the campus. You can see groups of students walking around the huge campus, finding their way around in the first week of university. And at weekends, the university may organize some trips to places nearby, so you will be quite busy for the first few weeks.
It sounds good. All the activities will keep me busy. Thank you, Alan.
You are welcome, and hope you will enjoy your stay here.
Exercise 5. Be a successful student. Listen to the talk and complete the statements.
Today, I'd like to talk about how to be a successful student. First, you should discover who you are and what you want to be. We all have our own personalities, qualities, character, and relationships. All those things together make us who we are. It's time to ask yourself, what kind of a person do you want to be? Shakespeare said, "The world is a stage, and we all play different roles." Well, what roles do you play? A student or a teacher? Musician or doctor? Write your roles down. For each role, what are your responsibilities? Then ask yourself, what would you want to do? And what would your future look like? How do people get what they want? How can you make your dreams come true? One thing to do is to set a goal and make a plan to achieve your goals. We all know that good things don't happen overnight, but you have to be prepared. You might just have to work hard to make it happen. Remember, you need to make a plan for your goals. Write down your short-term goals and break them into weekly goals so you know exactly what you need to do each week. You will be surprised how helpful this can be. Some projects are small and can be completed in a day. But then there are big projects like essays, reports, personal goals, difficult things that require planning, time, and effort. So you can plan personal and academic goals on the monthly and weekly planning pages of your list. Make it easy on yourself. Break down your projects or goals into small, easier steps and work towards them one step at a time. When you finish your plan, you should start to do it. Once you get going, it's much easier to continue. You can reward yourself with a treat. For example, some healthy snack or game for making progress on a project. You can work with a friend and encourage each other. You can design your own study schedule and stick to it. But be in control. Don't interrupt your study time for phone calls or TV shows. When you finish studying, you should review and check all completed tasks. Mark unfinished tasks with a future date and get ready to do it the next day. Now, let's just refresh our memories. First, to discover who you are and what you want to be. Then, plan to achieve your goals. And last is to do it because you can. Exercise 6. Homestay Program. Listen to the conversation and write down the missing information in the notes below. Excuse me, could you tell me what the homestay program in the brochure is?
The Homestay program is designed to promote friendship and language learning. We try to provide the opportunity for cultural exchange between Canadians and international students who attend the university. Local people open their homes to students so that they may experience an exchange of friendship across cultures. Many friendships that last a lifetime have developed from these stays.
I see. What kind of families do you choose for the hosts?
All kinds of families participate in this homestay program. There are single people with or without children, as well as couples with or without children.
Are they Canadians?
Yes, of course. They are Canadians of many races and cultures. For example, they may be originally from Asian countries, so do not expect that your hosts will be Caucasian. But all hosts will speak English fluently. But some may have accents.
Do the hosts know this program well?
Yes, the homestay coordinator has visited each family and provides information on the program and explains the responsibilities of the host. They look for people who are kind and friendly and enjoy meeting students from other countries. They make sure the hosts understand that this program is not designed for their financial gain.
It sounds good.
If you are interested, you can apply for this program. Here is some more information to help you understand the program.
What is it?
You must be willing to communicate with the hosts to establish a good relationship with them. This communication will require honesty, patience, and effort, because cultural and language differences sometimes create misunderstandings and confusion. You must be willing to interact with the hosts.
That's what I expect to do.
Good. The hosts will be concerned about you and will want to do all they can to help you achieve success. They will encourage you to discuss your thoughts and feelings openly with the host family. If a problem arises that you cannot resolve in this way, the homestay coordinator is always available to help you.
Thank you very much. I think I'd like to apply for the homestay program.
That's good. You can go to the homestay office to fill in some forms. I hope your experience will be a positive one.
Exercise 7. Oxford. Listen to the talk and fill in the missing words or figures in the notes for questions 1 to 11, and then circle the appropriate letter for questions 12 to 15. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the history of Oxford. Oxford has been a town for many centuries. The first written records of its existence date from before 912. Oxford University began to establish itself in the middle of the 12th century, and by 1300 there were already 1,500 students. At this time, Oxford was a wealthy town, but by the middle of the 14th century, it was poorer because of a decline in trade and because of the terrible plague, which killed many people in England. Relations between the students and the townspeople were very unfriendly, and there was often fighting in the streets. On the 10th of February, 1355, a battle began which lasted 2 days. 62 students were killed. The townspeople were punished for this. One of the punishments was that the university was given control of the town for nearly 600 years. Nowadays, there are about 12,000 students in Oxford, and the university and the town live happily side by side. The Oxford English Dictionary is well known to students of English everywhere. It contains approximately 5 million entries, and there are 13 volumes, including a supplement. Some of the words are special Oxford words. For example, Bulldog in Oxford is the name given to university policemen who wear bowler hats and sometimes patrol the streets at night. They are very fast runners. Punt is a word often used in both Oxford and Cambridge. It refers to a flat-bottomed boat with sloping ends, which is moved by pushing a long pole in the water.
Exercise 8. Controlling concentration. Alan is a counselor in the university. Susan is a first-year student. Listen to their conversation and fill in the missing information in the notes below.
Good morning, Susan. Come in.
Good morning, Alan.
What can I do for you?
I've come for some advice. I'm a first-year student. I want to know how to control my concentration to study.
That's a good question. I think you can improve your concentration by identifying and eliminating internal and external distractions.
What's an internal distraction?
Internal distractions are physical feelings that you can take control of since they originate within you. External distractions may be beyond your control, but you can learn to control your reactions to them.
But how?
To minimize internal and external distractions, you can take care of your physical needs before beginning a task. Maintain a positive attitude towards studying. And you can work to solve problems that you know cause you worry and stress.
Yes, go on.
You can improve your concentration by having a good place to study. The ideal home or dorm study environment is as distraction-free as you can make it.
That's true. I can make it into a nice study place.
You can choose a quiet location with adequate lighting. Select comfortable furniture suited to your needs. Keep your books and supplies readily available so you don't have to interrupt your studying to find them. Prominently display motivational aids, such as a calendar, weekly and semester or quarter plans, or assignments on which you have made good grades.
I understand. I should find a nice and comfortable study place before I start to study.
You are right. And how you study can also affect your concentration. Use your time efficiently. Break large tasks into smaller ones. Study similar subjects at different times. Take frequent breaks. Reward yourself for work accomplished. By the way, do you share your textbooks with other students?
No, I have my own textbooks.
That's good. Otherwise, you will be influenced by what another student thought if the book is underlined or highlighted by others.
Thank you very much. I'll try the methods you have mentioned.
Good luck.
Okay, bye. Exercise 9. Computing service. Listen to the conversation. As you listen, circle the right letter for questions 1 to 3, and then complete the notes for questions 4 to 8. Excuse me, could you tell me where the university computer lab is?
Are you a new student?
Yes, I'm a first-year student. I want to use a computer to type my assignment.
I see. Our university provides the most up-to-date computing environment of any college or university in Britain. There are 2 labs dedicated to student access. No classes are scheduled in them, so you can drop in any time when they are open.
Do you know where these 2 labs are?
Yes. One is in room 114 in building 315, and the other one is in room 110 in building 335. There are 27 computers in each one.
Only 27 are in each one. Are there any other labs I can use if these 2 labs are full?
Yes, we own 6 general-purpose labs, which often have classes booked in them, but they are available for drop-in use when classes are not in session. Check the lab before you go in. This schedule is updated every week.
I saw the brochure in the Students' Union. It said that there are at least 19 labs on campus.
Yes, there are 11 other large labs on campus, but they have dedicated uses of various kinds and are not usually available for general use.
Do you know if there are any rules in the labs?
Yes, we do have some rules.
What are they?
Let me think about them. Yes, the first, labs and computer equipment are provided only for registered students to do work associated with their courses.
I see. So we have to use our ID card when we get into the lab.
That's right. You should put your student ID card in the holder on top of the monitor and show proper identification if requested to do so. Second, computers are a limited resource shared among many students, so please respect the needs of others. When all computers are in constant use, please limit your session on the computer to an hour at a time.
Can we reserve computers?
I'm sorry, you may not reserve computers. When you leave the lab for a coffee break, you must save your work and make the computer available for another student to use.
I see. Can I bring some drinks there?
Absolutely no food or drink in the labs.
Are there any printers there?
Yes, of course. But remember, when you print, please limit printing to 1 copy of a document. And please do not start printing less than 10 minutes before the lab closes.
Thank you very much. This helps me a lot. Exercise 10. English letter writing. Listen to the conversation and fill in the missing information in the notes below.
Hi, Lucy. Shall we go to swim after school?
I'd like to, but I have to reply to my English teacher's letter. She has gone to America.
You mean Susan?
Yes.
Why did she go back home? There are still some weeks left before the vacation.
Her father died of cancer a week ago, and so she had to go back for her father's funeral.
I see. I'm sorry to hear that. Lucy, do you have any time now?
Yes, Tom. What can I do for you?
I want to write a letter to my friend Bob. He went back to England yesterday and left his address for me, but I'm not sure how to write it.
Okay. You know, English letter writing is different from Chinese writing. You should write your address in the top right-hand corner and write the date immediately below your address. Today is the 28th of March, 2002, so you should write the date below your address.
That's really so different. We usually write the sender's address at the bottom of the letter, or write it on the left corner of the envelope.
Yes, that's right. Remember, don't write your name before your address.
Where shall I write my name?
You should write it at the end of the letter.
I see.
Then you should write the recipient's name and address on the left-hand side of the page.
So I should write Bob's name and his address on the left-hand side?
Yes, that is the formal way when you write business letters or official letters. But you don't need to write Bob's name and his address in an informal letter.
Okay. What else?
You must use Dear Sir or Dear Madam only when you don't know the person's name.
How do I begin when I write to Bob?
You should use his name directly. In the custom of English letter writing, don't begin with "Dear friend."
I see. After that, I can start my writing, is that right?
Yes, you should begin the letter on the left-hand side, a little way inside the margin. At the end of your letter, write a short final sentence on a separate line.
What should I write for the last sentence?
Usually, people write like this: "I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon," or "I hope to hear from you soon." Then end with "Yours faithfully" if you began with "Dear Sir" or "Madam." In formal letters, if you begin with "Dear Mr. X," you should end with "Yours sincerely."
I see. Don't use "Dear Sir" or "Madam" with "Yours sincerely," or "Dear Mr. X" with "Yours faithfully." But what shall I use for Bob's letter?
You can use "Yours," "Best wishes," or "Love" in informal letters depending on how well you know the person.
Thank you very much for the help.
With pleasure. I have to go now. See you soon.
Goodbye. Exercise 11. How to become a confident student. Listen to the talk and write down the missing information in the notes below.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our regular lecture on college study issues. This series of lectures is organized by the International Students Office. We want to help you, the students of this university, to cope well with the study and social life here. This series of lectures is designed to help you discover the ways in which you learn most easily and most enjoyably, and help you define your own goals and preferences as you embark on your college career and look ahead to life and work in the future. It includes discussions, illustrations, and easy-to-understand suggestions on ways to develop all the skills you will need to perform well in your classes and build confidence in your ability to learn. Some lectures will contain many ideas for strengthening a particular skill, but you can try out as many ideas as you like for studying. And also, you can adapt the ideas in the lectures to suit your own needs and personal learning style. Many students want to know how to be a confident student. It's a good question. Strategies for becoming a confident and successful student include making use of the 4 keys to success in college discussed in this lecture. 1. To assess your academic strengths and weaknesses. 2. To discover and use your learning style. 3. To sharpen your thinking and study skills. 4. To adapt to others' styles. Let's talk about the first one. To assess your academic strengths and weaknesses means to be realistic about what you are able to do. This will help you select courses in which you can succeed. This is the most important key when you enter college. The second key is to discover and use your learning style. This is another important key to your success. Use your 5 senses to help you take in information accurately and remember what you learn. Let your body's reactions tell you when you are most alert. Then try to plan your schedule accordingly. Know which learning environment you prefer, but be willing to adapt to others. Increase your level of motivation by developing an internal focus of control. A third key to your success in college is your effort to develop critical thinking and study skills. Making decisions, solving problems, using creativity, processing information, and reasoning logically are critical thinking skills involved in studying. All the important study skills you will need to develop or improve, such as how to take notes, listen effectively, read with greater comprehension, and prepare for and take tests, are covered in the next lectures. The fourth key is your willingness to adapt to your instructor's teaching styles. If you make an honest effort to learn, no matter how an instructor approaches a subject, then you will make efficient use of class time and develop good relations with your instructors.
Exercise 12. About language learning. Chris is Susan's tutor. They are talking about language learning. Listen to their conversation and fill in the missing words in the notes below. Hi, Susan. How are you getting on with your English studies?
It's hard. I have been in England for a year, but I still have a lot of problems both in speaking and reading.
Don't worry. You have to be patient and practice them more.
It's very strange, my son Eric, he is only 4, but he seems to learn English much more quickly than I do. Why is this? Why is it easy for young children to learn a language?
That's a good question. I think part of the answer is that children have so many needs. They need to be helped by grown-ups. They have to make their needs known. And they are always watching the effect of what they say and trying new ways of getting what they want. Children are learning new things all the time.
I agree with you. We adults need to learn new things as well, especially when we settle in a foreign country. But it takes us a longer time to get used to a new life than young children. They seem to adapt more quickly.
Yes. Another part of the answer I'd like to point out is that children are not, as older people sometimes are, fixed in their ways of living. When they are taken from one country to another, they change easily from one language to another, from one bed to another, from one food to another. Older people are more fixed in their ways. They have been hearing and talking one language for a long time. Their ways of hearing and making sounds and of putting words together are like the rails a train goes on. They have been up and down their lines of talk and thought too many times to change them easily.
I quite agree with you. A child is freer in his ways. He is more like a bird. He is free to go in any direction he wants. He is free to hear sounds as they are and make them as he hears them. He is free to put new words together in new ways in speaking a new language.
I think that is why they learn things so fast. The more languages you hear and get to know, the more you will see how any language is made up of a small number of sounds put together in different ways. For example, in English, light and right are different words with only one sound in them different. The same is true of long and wrong. If a learner does not hear these different sounds as different, he may get the wrong meaning.
That's true. I have had this kind of problem. 6 months ago, I was asking the way to the station. The man told me to turn to the right, but what I thought he said was to turn at the light, so I tried to find the light. It took me hours to get to the station.
I'm sorry to hear that. You know, most people learn their mother language without being able to give any account at all of how it works. They learn to talk as they learn to walk, without any idea of how they do it. People who learn to use a language well do so through talking with others who use it well, through reading good writers, and through watching the effects on others of what they say and how they say it.
I will try all these. The world needs more people who can use languages well. Language is as necessary to our minds as the air we breathe is to our bodies.
Exercise 13. How to take notes. Listen to the conversation. Circle the right letter for questions 1 to 4, and write down the missing information in the notes for questions 5 to 9.
Today's discussion is on note-taking. Note-taking is one of the important skills for classroom success. There is no one best way to take notes, but your own experience and some suggestions may help you to cope well with university study here. Chris, you start first. How do you take notes when you are in class?
I always keep track of the notes by putting a date and heading on the first page, and numbering pages that follow. And I often make sure to identify the lecture topic and the class in which the lecture takes place. I think this is very important because when you study later, you will be able to match up class notes and textbook notes or assignments on the same topic.
I do the same. I often keep the notes for one class separated from the notes for other classes, so I use separate notebooks for each class.
I use dividers to set aside different sections in one notebook.
I think both of the methods are good. Some students like to use a loose-leaf binder so that lecture notes, textbook notes, and the instructor's handout may be taken out of it and reorganized for study purposes.
That's a good idea, to use a loose-leaf binder. I will buy one for my note-taking. I like to use a ballpoint pen for taking notes.
So do I, but I prefer to use blue or black ones because the other colors, such as red or green, are hard on the eyes.
It's a good idea to use a ballpoint pen because pencils fade easily, and a pen sometimes blurs and soaks through the paper.
My handwriting is poor, so I often print the notes for clarity after class.
That's a very good way to do it. It's very important to make your notes clear to read because you may use them for your essay.
I often use standard abbreviations in my notes in order to speed up note-taking. For example, intro for introduction, info for information, dept for department.
This is one way to speed up your writing. You can also make up some of your own words or phrases that you use often. Make a key for your abbreviations so you won't forget what they mean.
Okay, I will try next time.
I often copy anything that is written on the board or on overhead transparencies into my notes because I find test questions often come from material that is presented in these ways.
Really? I hadn't noticed that.
I think you'd better organize your notes after class. Try to summarize the points in your own words. It will be easier for you to remember your notes.
That is a good suggestion.
Another suggestion is that you should review your notes to fill in gaps while the information is still fresh in your mind. The purpose of taking notes is to help you remember information.
When I seem to be missing something, I often compare notes with my classmate or see the instructor.
That's the way to do it. Thank you very much for your time. I think new students may use and adapt some of your good methods for note-taking into their own study.
Exercise 14. The Dean's Speech. Listen to the talk. Circle the correct letters for questions 1 to 5, and for questions 6 to 8, indicate whether the statements are true or false by writing T for true and F for false.
Good morning, students. As many of you have already heard, tuition fees will be going up to $3,600 per term, starting in September 2001. I felt I should explain to you why the fees are increasing. The primary reason is, of course, that expenses have increased, including faculty's and staff salaries. Our operating expenses have also increased in the past year. As we try to maintain a high level of service to our international students, we have added new staff in the last year to meet the growing needs, including a manager of admissions. We have also expanded our homestay staff to improve our homestay services. Unfortunately, when expenses increase, the costs have to be passed on to the student. This is the first increase in fees since 1998, however, and we are trying to keep the fees as reasonable as possible. To compare our fees with other institutions in the province, the University College of the Cariboo is raising its fees to $3,800 per semester starting in September 2001. Programs at UBC start at $13,830 per year. At many institutions, the tuition fees for academic courses in the third and fourth year level are higher than those for the first 2 years are, because the costs to run the courses are higher. We have decided not to differentiate the fees, but to balance the costs by charging the same tuition for all 4 years. I would like to tell you that we value your opinion and want to make sure that you are satisfied as a student at the college. If any of you would like to meet with me to discuss the fees or any other matter, you are welcome to visit me in my office in Building 359. Please phone 741-2795 for an appointment.
Exercise 15. How to write a summary. Listen to the talk and fill in the missing information in the notes below. Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how to write a summary. I think if you remember one word, it will help you to write a summary. The word is simple. This word represents 6 steps to writing a good summary. Simple's first letter is S. S here stands for the first step you should do. That is, to study the text carefully. And letter I here stands for the second step, to identify the key points while you read the text. M here represents the third step of writing a summary. That is, to make notes. Then the fourth one is to put points in order. The next step is to leave out unnecessary detail. The last step is to edit your first draft. Now, I will talk about these steps one by one. Let us start with studying the text. When you get an article, you should read it first fairly quickly to get a sense of the general meaning. Then, read it more carefully, following the writer's argument and noticing what is fact and what is opinion, what is a general statement, and what is a particular example. It is often helpful to summarize each paragraph in a few words at this stage. Now, let's turn to identifying the key points. You must go through the text and mark the places where important information is given. You can underline or highlight with a colored pen or simply make a mark in the margin. The third step is to make notes. This is a very important stage. You should write down the key points you've identified in note form in your own words. This is also especially important in an exam because the examiner needs to know you understand what you have written and that you are not just copying from the text. Let's turn to the fourth step, to put points in order. You should look at the list of points you have made and see if there are any which go together. Then decide the best order to put the points in. Number the points in order. Now, let's look at the next stage. Leave out unnecessary detail. This stage is much like the tailor who cuts off unnecessary parts for making clothes. You should choose the important facts and get rid of unnecessary detail. The last stage is to edit your first draft. You should check the spelling and grammar, counting the number of words. If you have many fewer than the limit, you should add in something, so it is important to check the original text again. If you have more than the limit, look for ways of combining points in one sentence or of losing words here and there. If you follow the word simple, it may help you to make a good summary in an academic essay.